Kisses. Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm a little bit paranoid because my mic has went out and I've had such problems. So I have it on the ugly screen. You guys all do not like. I know you don't like it, but I'm watching to make sure the mic is going to work. And we've got Kisses here and she's purring. Let everybody hear you purr, Kisses. Can you hear her purring? She is just purring away. She likes me to spoon her these days. So when we go to sleep, she gets real close to me and I get to rub her belly. But right now I'm not in bed because I'm celebrating my 1 year YouTube anniversary. Thank you all for being with me from day one. I am so happy for all of the people that I have met. You guys are all amazing. And I'm sorry that I was a little bit discouraged last night in seeing so many of these people who are abusing the platform get the success that it looks like I don't have. But I have to remember that their success is it's fake, it's bought, and it's not going to last. Whereas I know that I have earned the respect and support of all of you. And we've done that by building relationships that is based on where you know that I'm a creator that you can defend in how I have came about my decisions because I'll explain them. I'll explain why I take certain viewpoints on different subjects, etc. And you're always welcome to ask me that. And a lot of you email me, and I love that. And my email is, of course, tabithajane0@gmail.com. That's just the zero, the number. I don't even, is zero a number? I don't know. But it's not like it's the word zero, Z-E-R-O. I guess Tabitha Jane was already taken, so they gave me the Tabitha Jane 0. And it's been really hard because people put in Tabitha Jane O instead of 0. And so I wasn't getting some mail some people thought that I was getting. So anyway, I'm on here and Ma Kisses wants me in bed. So she tried to race and get on my chair here. So I couldn't sit down. So I tried to put her on my lap because I'd like her to be a lap cat, but she refuses. That's kind of not her style. So I just moved a second chair over here for her to sit down, but nope, she wants to do that. And like you guys just heard, she wanted to try and make sweet love to the microphone. So here we are, my 1 year anniversary of YouTube. And I had a really good night. I'm doing some things in my personal life. I'm working out. So I've been doing a good job on that. So I had a good workout. Um I was a little discouraged because I lost 7 pounds right away. And then when I went on the scale the next week, I gained 3 of it back. So I was like, what the, my body can't figure this out. What? So I was really, I was being an idiot. But anyway, I got over my little pity party pretty much. Now, with that being said, I can't talk about what happened to me the first weekend in May yet, as I don't know all of what is going to come about that. In that I witnessed some. I'm just going to say I witnessed something that was very life changing for me, and how that may or may not turn into something that I will have to testify in a court of law. I don't know. I will just say that I witnessed the loss of life of a young person. And then 2 nights ago, I had a really bad feeling. And I couldn't shake it. And I just felt like, and I even told my husband, I was like, something's wrong. I'm dropping everything. I'm like, that song, "The Stars Are Crossed Against You, girl, get back in bed." I was like, I joked and I said that. And then I was driving home, and to make that last turn It was at dusk, and somebody made a stupid mistake and pulled out in front of somebody else. And then all of a sudden, I've got two cars hurling at me, and one car set on fire as the tire, and I don't know what part of the engine hit that caught on fire as it was hurling towards me. And I did my big special driving move that has worked so far is I push on the wheel hard right, and um missed being involved in a very terrible wreck by centimeters. And the truck that was behind me, so he had to have witnessed it all, just accelerated fast behind us. So two people who did not witness the initial wreck assumed that he was in the wreck and it was a hit and run. That's how bad he was, and he sped out of there so violently, like, oh, he was so inconvenienced by there being a terrible wreck that he just had to get past it. So that was really, it was a mess. And so the first the person who I was closer to, it was not her fault, although she T-boned the vehicle. The vehicle, driven by a young person, had pulled out in front of her. So he ran a stop sign. So it's not her fault, but she made the initial hit. So then when they hit so hard that, it spun. And so she's, crying and trying to get the airbags out of her face, and she hurt her. I think she probably broke her wrist. I think her hands were on the wheel, and then the airbags, when they went off, hurt her. Her thumb definitely was displaced. So um I'm trying to make sure that I can get her out safely without her getting hit by somebody else who's going to come whizzing by. And I'm looking at the other vehicle, and I'm looking to make sure the fire is out in the front of her vehicle, and it did. So once the tire blew, and it was just the metal, because her tire blew in the initial hit, and then the metal, when it was hitting the concrete, and it was spinning, what that was causing that fire that I saw. And that's what hit my adrenaline the most, because I'll tell you this part in a second. I then saw another car coming, and I couldn't grab my phone because I've got my eye focused on her, and the other car driver was acting really weird. So he did stop, but reluctantly, and he got out, and he was grabbing his head and spinning around. And so another car goes by and just, whizzes past. I'm like, what the? Because, a lot of times when there's a wreck, it's very dangerous, because the person who steps out to be a good Samaritan, or the person who's just gotten caught in their airbag, will get secondarily hit, and you're hit by a car. So it often is an unaliving. So I'm trying to just safely get to her. And then the next car that went by, it was this truck, and they had his windows down, and I just screamed, and I was like, stop and help. And he heard me enough, but not till, he was just a little bit down, and then he turned around and he came back, and he's like, wait, what? He's like, I'm a firefighter, what happened? So I tell him, and I'm like, I'm here, and I'm getting to her. And so I got to her, and and I got her out, and she was crying and everything. And then the young person, he came over, and he grabbed her, and he was just apologizing and apologizing and apologizing. And he reeked of alcohol. And there's a story behind that. That's why I'm laughing, or else I wouldn't have laughed. So he reeks like alcohol. So you're going, okay, but you know what? Injuries are mild at this point. He is saying, what is all that ringing? Like, his head is ringing. He can't really hear me. The airbags popped in his face as well. And then he goes back to his car and he's doing some shit, and I'm not paying much attention to that because he's obviously moving, he's younger, whatever, and I'm paying more attention to the lady who is in shock and she's screaming about, her child, her child, her child. And I'm like, okay, where's the child? And oh, she was on the way to go and get her child. So somebody needed to go and get her child. So she had her phone halfway dialed. So she pushed it and calls her husband, so she calls her husband. She says, somebody hit me. When she says the location, she's like, somebody hit me. You got to go pick up so and so because somebody hit me. So she was saying, hit me. So then I have this, the man firefighter who, is sitting with her, trying to get her, sat down and calmed down. And I'm trying to, keep things. And I kept saying, I was like, I'm the only witness. So I know this and this happened. And I said, I don't know that anybody's been able to call 911. We have to get 911 called. So then somebody else comes wandering over and I'm like, call 911. That's not been done yet. Please call 911 and please somebody help, call 911 and help because he's not okay, So I'm still trying to keep everybody in order, but my adrenaline was going so fast. I was having a hard time even forming sentences. And I don't know if it's because of what I saw earlier in the month where I obviously have PTSD from, I have, PTSD from my abuse earlier in my life, but obviously things come up and you have PTSD again from traumatic events. And so the young person is getting all of his stuff out of his trunk, like golf clubs, coats, everything. He's doing this. He's moving stuff from his car, moving stuff back and forth. And he's doing all this stuff. And I'm just like, what is he doing? He's like a rabid squirrel over there. I'm like, he smells drunk, but I don't think he's acting drunk. I think he's acting from, I don't know what is going on. Maybe he has some weird cologne. I don't know what's going on. I'm still not thinking right. But the man has the lady, and that's the biggest concern. And he's calling for a blanket because she's shaking really bad. So then the next person who comes out of their house, I'm like, go get a blanket. And I'm like, they're fine, they're stable. I'm the only witness, but we need a blanket, and 911 has been called. So I was still, kind of calling the shots there. And this guy comes up, and he just stops in the middle of the road, goes up to his wife, and he's like, and he's got something in his hand. And right to this day, I don't know what he had in his hand. But he's like, show me the mofo. Show me the who hit you. Who hit you? Why did they hit you? Because it wasn't, she did not say she was in a car accident. She said somebody came and hit her. So she's on the ground crying, and there's a big fireman helping her. So he's running up, not sure what's going on with his wife. And so then I turn my eyes as, the protective mom that I am, because I'm going to go and put myself between, this kid and this man going to put hands. Well, this kid was running. Well, I'm like, run for your life, boy, because, this is not good. I'm going to do my best to save your ass. But right now, it's not looking good. So I'm glad you can run. And, I'm trying to hold this guy back. And I'm like, stop. This is a stupid mistake. These are mild injuries. This is crushed metal. Everything is replaceable. He's taken ownership of what happened. Insurance is going to cover this. In Minnesota, we basically have that whoever fault it is, you have to carry personal insurance that will cover the damage to you and I believe whatever car you make contact. I know that somebody could say, oh yeah, liability. No, I think there's something else. I mean, obviously, I have full coverage because I'm just always afraid in that way, but there's different statutes in Minnesota where it's like almost every accident is like not at fault because they didn't want some of the things that were happening in the bigger cities to be happening, that because we have snow for so much of the year, there's a lot of fender benders. There's a lot of things that are not necessarily your fault when you lose control. So there's that backstory there. So I was just basically saying, hey, look, this is going to be covered. This is fine. This is all replaceable. This is fine. She might, have a broken arm, dislocated thumb. She's fine. She's fine. She's fine. Do not ruin your life over going and putting hands on that kid. And he is just charged, man. He is going, and like I said, my mind still won't calm down enough to let me understand what was in his hand. So then I hear the sirens, and this man who was all, gonna go and put hands on this, whoever hurt his wife, he gets back in the car that he parked in the middle of the freaking road and just drives off. He doesn't like stay with the law enforcement to say, hey, yeah, this is our vehicle. This is my wife. Where are you going to transport her? Where should we have this towed? I'm going to go and get my child. None of that. Oh, no, his jet's out of there. I'm like, what kind of a weirdo is this? Does he have warrants? What is all going on right here at the edge of my hood in suburbia in the heartland of America? I'm standing on a hill thinking that. And so the sheriff comes up, he gets out, and there's all these cars and there's all these people at this point. So he's like, who's all involved? What's going on? And I say, I'm the only witness. That's my car. I'm not hit. I'm just not talking right. I'm the only witness. I was the only person who saw it. She's got minor injuries. He's an off-duty fireman. I stopped him. He's helping. And I point, and then this older lady was bringing back the kid. And she's like, we need an ambulance for him. We need an ambulance for him. He's wandering around. He's running around. He's laying down in yards. Something's not right with him. And I'm like, no, he was running for his life. He had to go hide. And they're like, but he threw a backpack. Like, what? And so then the sheriff takes me over to the side, and he's like, okay, what happened? And I'm like, what happened? I'm like, I know that they were hurling towards me. I know it's his fault, but he's like, where was he coming from? And I'm like, there. I'm like pointing in the middle of the road because my brain would not go past where the two vehicles made contact and were hurling towards me. And I had called my husband down the block because I knew that he probably either heard the car wreck or heard everything. We had seven deputies there, and nothing flat. It felt like forever to me. But I called my husband super quick, and I'm like, I'm not involved in the wreck, but I have to have you come down here quick because I'm the only witness. So he comes running down. My son came right behind because he was doing the yard, and he heard the wreck. So they came. So when I was pointing out who's who, I pointed out my husband. So the sheriff goes, okay, you're her husband. It's like, I need you to go and drive her safely home and put her to bed, get her something, to drink, not alcoholic, but he's like she's a little out of it right now. Go take her, we'll come down to the house or we'll call when she's calmed down a little bit. And so after what had happened to me at the beginning of May, the day of and the day after, I couldn't stop throwing up. And so I had a little bit of that again. So when the adrenaline of what I just saw, put me back to that place. So I came home, threw up, still wasn't doing very well. And then I laid down for about 20 minutes, and I think I fell asleep because I woke up and I'm like, wait a minute, he came from that side. Okay. So then I was like, I'm going to go down, and they were all still there. So 3 hours later, still got 7 deputies, and the roads were all closed down and everything. And I was able to go and give, what I actually saw and speak in full sentences once I calmed down. And then everything all came together. So what had happened was this kid, and he was not drinking, but something had happened earlier in the day where he may or may not have been hosting a party in his car, basically, with a bunch of alcohol. And as he was 17, you can't do that. So then when the wreck happened, the impact made all of that alcohol, vodka, whatever else, all the bottles of alcohol that were hidden under the seat, they essentially exploded. So there's broken glass all over in the inside of his car and vodka all over him and everything. So what he was doing when he thought all eyes were on the other woman, he went and ran. He put all of the broken glass and everything that he could grab in a backpack and went and tried to throw it in one of our little ponds. So somebody goes and brings the backpack out of the marsh to the deputy. Like, oh my God, all this stuff. Why? He blew a .00, so he had not been drinking, thank goodness. But he was ticketed for having the open container, and it was his fault. He took responsibility right away. And I wanted to really tell his mom that, hey, look, this is a stupid mistake. This is a responsible kid. He made a mistake, but the first thing out of his mouth was, I'm sorry. And he came and ran to the woman and put his arms around her, hugging her, saying he was sorry, that she's raised a good boy. This is a problem. We've all been stupid when we're young. And he's going to pay for this, because I don't even know if he'll be able to get a license for until he's 21 at this point. I don't know what they'll do for that, because it wasn't, it's interesting, because it's not a moving violation with it. But you know what? If you're being stupid as a teenager, keep the frickin' alcohol in your trunk. What the heck? Do these kids not know the rules? Oh, this reminds me. I should tell you guys a Tabitha Jane teenage story. Okay, so this one time. Okay, so this is the other part. So I've talked to you guys about my problems with PTSD and why I am the way that I am. My stepfather, step monster, step whatever, was a policeman. He was a policeman and fully retired as a policeman. Then went into work in Child Protective Services. And only, I know some of you guys are probably like going, yeah, that makes sense, because he's a pedo. So beginning at the age of 8, he started R-wording me. And it was a mess. So anyway, by the time I was 12, I wasn't going to live. He was beating me so bad because, I wasn't, 8 anymore, where I couldn't, fight off. I was able to be more strong and fight harder. And so I just felt like one of the times that, he was beating me, and then I wasn't going to live, because I was extremely malnourished, extremely anorexic, very sick. The abuse was, I really was, internally hurting in so many ways. And so I had learned to be in a very small town, be invisible, because I had to be a runaway. So the song by Bon Jovi came out, Little Runaway. And everybody knew that was my song, Oh, she's a little runaway. Yeah, that's me. So everybody knew in town that was me, because I was running. I was always running. I'd always have to hide because, he'd be trying to find me. It's a very small town, but what, I'd have to be on the next. And I would hide in all of the places you would not even believe. But then, I'd turn up just enough to go to school that I ended up graduating on time. But anyway, long ago and far away. So I've always had to run from the popo and hide. Well, me and my friends are at this party, obviously we're very young. And the cops come in. And I see it, I'm in the kitchen of this house, and I know every cop there. And my stepdad was not with them, thank God, but I knew all of them. So I knew that once they saw me, I was going to be in trouble as it was. I think I was still in foster homes then, so I wouldn't have had to go home or anything, but it would have been bad, because they would have seen me, and they would have. So they start calling for everybody to line up, because they're gonna go ahead and just start handing out all the minor in consumption, and do the breathalyzers, see who was drinking, and everybody there was going to get charged with minor in consumption or minor in possession, whatever, blah 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 blah. So I'm like in the kitchen, and I'm going, I can't even come around this bend, because once they see me, they're going to identify me. I'm, whatever. So my friend is like on the other side of the hall. she, with her eyes, looked over at this window on the second floor. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, no way. I'm shaking my head. And she's like, huh. And so, I just kind of really slowly go and really, really low. In the crowd, I go and I meet her in the hall. And then we just like went into where we saw this bedroom that we knew there was the window that we'd kind of seen. And we jump out of this second floor window and we run to her car, and all of the police were there blocking off the house. So then in her car, she had to reverse like 3 blocks to get us out of there. Like, oh my God. Those are the things you do when you're young, and the stories of like, how am I even alive at this point? But, because I'd been, so good at running away from a policeman, I'm pretty good at it. But that's where, I wanted to find answers in what had happened to me and why, and why he was able to do those things. Cause he said, it's because he was a policeman and he could. So, as I've grown up, as I talk about my education, you guys know that, I have 2 bachelor's degrees, one bachelor in psychology and one in criminal justice. And I'm finishing up my master's in forensic psychology. Just because I was always trying to find answers, like, well, where is this? So you said, where was this? Or why did they do this to me? Why was this done? I was always trying to find more answers to my own abuse that, I wasn't really getting the answers in therapy. And I spoke about this on Mayhem Unleashed, aka Snow White's panel tonight. Mainly because I get really disgusted when people give excuses for poor behavior because somebody was traumatized as a teen. And of course, we are referring to the one and only shit show that there is, Michelle Shit Show Shabate. And so when Snow White said that, somebody was saying something in the chat or something, I think, where it was like, well, she's been a victim of trauma, isn't she a victim? I was like, don't, because Michelle has used that before. And Michelle, when I didn't get to clarify because when I was on Snow White's panel tonight, that's what I was going to tell you guys. So if you guys have not listened, please go to Mayhem Unleashed, which is AKA Snow White, which I did not know that was Snow White. I've been trying to find Snow White because I've seen her in chats. We have friends in common, and I could never find her. So then through a conversation on my board, which I'll show you guys in a minute, she invited me to be on her panel. And I didn't know anything about her. I've never heard of the channel Mayhem Unleashed. So, about an hour into our discussion, she says something about how she's, Snow White essentially. And I'm like, you're Snow White? I thought she was friends with Snow White the way we were talking back and forth, even about being on this panel. I'm like, what? You're Snow White? What? And we really, had an aha moment about that, and an aha moment about some of the same content that we are both watching and covering, and we have very similar concerns. So I wanted you guys to listen to that. I was late. This week just got because, what I just told you, all of the chaos and me narrowly avoiding disaster, as is becoming more and more a common theme right now in my life. I was late. And so the panel, I think she called it narcissistic personality disorder, APD, something possible Tabitha Jane. And so because I was late, she did have another panel member on. And so when I got in there, I think you guys will really like the conversation if you guys have been following the Michelle Shit Show. And even if you haven't, I really was able to answer some of the questions that are coming out here in a way that I think that people will understand what I'm saying better, because I have answered a lot of questions in chat, but then only one person sees it, or the chat isn't replayed, or it'll be in a comment and then that stream won't be there, etc., etc. So I think you'll really like to hear what was said. So I'm going to go over to how this all started. I'm going to show y'all. So now that I'm quite sure that the microphone is working, Ooh, a blue UFO spotted on body cam. Oh, Kim Jong-un ordered people to stop unaliving themselves. Okay. Let's see here. We're going to go to YouTube. And we're going to go over here. Well, oh, Michelle, shut up. Okay. And this Michelle Tara thing, yeah, it's disgusting. And oh, Countess Tara's doing makeup content. Well, what's that old saying? You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. Something like that. Same as what poor ETN tried to do. Can't make a hoe into a housewife. I mean, there's these old sayings, and they're there for a freaking reason. Let's see. There's my kisses. My kisses loves garlic. See her tongue there, eating the butter and garlic off of the garlic bread there, and yeah, she just eating some pizza. She's Garfield. Oh, anyway, let's see here. Okay, we're gonna go to my community page. Oh, look at me here. Look at me here. Well, hold on. Well, we're gonna look at this for a second. So here I am. I made 300 videos. Let's see. Look at this. I joined June 10th, 2022. So, like I say, 1 year anniversary. You guys have viewed my channel 180,241 times. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, I have 1,720 subscribers, and I made 300 videos. Now, I made a video last night pretty much asking what I was doing wrong because that rat-faced terror rat has made 16 videos. 16 videos, and she has 1,260 subs. And she apparently accrued those in a matter of a couple of days. What are people thinking? And then she puts her 8-year-old autistic daughter on, and has a list as long as Santa's. And then she has her daughter opening all these presents with her. She's putting her daughter, her vulnerable autistic daughter, on. And Tara is claiming that she herself has autistic. So as an autistic mom with an autistic child, they're now getting all of these gifts and money based on her gaslighting all of us with Michelle. And so we touched on that. I feel the way that I do, and I made my own video about it last night. I asked Snow White if she still felt comfortable having me on the panel, given the stance that I am taking about Tara Rat. And she didn't have a problem with it. She understands it as my opinion and my standpoint. So I just needed to make that clear. And that I saw earlier that she was going to have Tara on a panel, and I made sure that I wasn't going to be on the same episode or anything. I will not interact with Tara Rat, Countess, what is her name? Countess Tara Rat. I don't know. It looks like a rat, has beady little red eyes like a rat, has a rat face, is a rat. It lies. It's lying. It's exploiting a child. If you look at the words, if you look at Countess and you take out the O, it says right there what she is, right? Countess. And the word Tara is spelled backwards, rat. I mean, can we not see the writing on the literal names here, people? So anyway, here I am. And if you go over here to my community page, while we're here, I want to show you guys something. My videos. Because I am not very good at technology, I have playlists here, okay? So I have your playlists, and so then things will play one after the other. So all of the content that I've done on Michelle is here, and it's got these 33 videos, so they should play one after the other. And then anything that I did, that's sometimes the content overlapped, and if I'm talking about something else, I put the mental illness in the internet right there, and I some of my content where I've done with borderline and dialectical behavioral treatment put in there as a playlist. So if you're getting ready to go to bed, just turn this on and listen, and I'll put you right to sleep, I'm telling you. And then some of my lifestyle things I've done, um the Betty uh blowhorn bullhorn blowjob Betty, whatever her name is. I've done some content on her. Um, we have the really sad story in Minnesota right now, about Madeline Kingsbury's body being found this week. And I have been keeping everybody updated with everything that's going on there in this playlist. And then let's see, so I have that unlisted there. For the Idaho 4, I have that listed here for Moscow, and I put in Moscow Massacre, so I have that there. My live concerts there. And there's more, because if you guys are interested, so what I mentioned tonight is that I take a very different look at things, and I took a very different approach to the Watts case, and that's how I got involved here. And if you go to my Watts, let's see, if we go to Watts. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I talked about Diane Downs tonight on Snow White's panel. So that video is in here as well. Um, my I've done 55 videos for the Watts that have Watts content. So in the playlist, all of it should be there. And the whole discovery I've read, the reasons why he would be eligible for a 35C, which would give him a full trial, although because he has not had a trial, in the ways in which he did or did not admit or take responsibility for, however you want to state it, is in there. And so that's where you can kind of find this on my channel and other people's channel, just so you kind of get familiar with how we creators have things in the back. And I'll always answer everything for you. If you have any questions and you want to know how much I've made to date, which I said I think I'm at, well, when I was talking last night, I was at 121, and I got a $2 cash app. Thank you so much, Sicilian Princess. So I think I'm at 123. And YouTube has not allowed me to put in my payment history, or the way that I can accept payment. It does not have me put my banking account information in. So I've not received any money in my pocket from my 1 year and 300 videos. And that's my thing, because as you guys know, my videos, all of them were 2 and 3 hours long in the beginning. So I put how many hours in, and procuring the documents, and subscribing to services so I could get the documents and have them, as fast as the news was getting them for the Moscow 4 and everything. I've done all of that, and I worked really hard to be a creator. So when I see Tara, 16 videos and that many subs, and her getting it for being a lying, scamming, manipulative fat snatch, I don't get it. I am disgusted with it. But anyway, so we go over here to the community page. We creators have this. I was under the impression that you could not see things that long on the community page, but I guess you can. So we come over here to my page, my community page we have here, and I just went ahead here and I did a little thank you video. When I was talking to Mayhem Unleashed, Snow White, I couldn't get my StreamYard to work. My StreamYard and my Snowball mic do not work together, and then it won't unmute, blah, blah, blah. So I had to be on the phone on StreamYard, and my internet went out because there was a fireworks show going on. So it was funny, because right as Snow White and I were really getting, some stuff figured out and everything, and I'm just spitting facts and everything, all of a sudden my thing cuts, and there's all these fireworks out there. So I quickly waited till I could get internet. It was took the longest 45 seconds or ever to get connected back onto internet. and filmed the fireworks and did a little thing there. So that's there. So you can always kind of see what I'm thinking and stuff, or what other creators are thinking about if you go over to their community page. So here it is. Here's the fireworks show. There you go. That's there. Now this is the live that I did, and I put that link here. And so it was on the Mayhem Unleashed. Oh, she's done. Okay, what? We have 776 views from our good talk. Good. Good. And she says potential panel with Tabitha Jane. I was indeed there. I must have came in at like the second hour. I came in like 7 o'clock my time. I don't know what time that was there. But that's there. So there's a link to it right in the top of my page. If you go over to community, there's this link here. I think that you guys will really like it. We really broke down some of the things, and I think that you'll like what I had to say. I was not able to cite some of the sources that I had because I was really ready for some of the questions that I thought were going to come, and I had some good answers. So I want you guys to listen to it. I think you're going to really like it. Like I say, I think I came in at an hour 2 or 3. I'm not sure. I came in after Lauren Delgado. Delgado, did I say her last name? I'm not sure. So anyway, we go there. So watch for that video there, Narcissism, ASPD, Healing and Moving on Mayhem Unleashed, and it's linked here. And then that's where I did that. So then let's see here. Oh God, why did that? I can't get this thing to scroll right. We're going to go here. And this is where I put the GoFundMe for the Madeline Kingsbury benefit for her children, and most likely for her funeral expenses. Now, the benefit was planned earlier in the week to create a fund for her children, and then when her remains were found, the remains were there was an effort to conceal them, is the way they're saying it, and they were found in bushes off of a highway in an area that was familiar to him in Mabel, Minnesota. So this is where I wrote here too, is I said, oh God, why will this not just like scroll like a normal freaking thing should scroll nice, right? So I had this epiphany the other night at like 3 a.m. And it's like, Michelle has told on herself since day one. How could she have ever been a rope expert, as she claimed, when she first came on Molly's, if she was never an insurance adjuster? Okay. Her scam of the week was that she needed all of that money because she needed to become an insurance adjuster and get certified in this and that so that she could go and get deployed and she could be a self-sufficient lady. Well, I did a 3-hour thing exposing how that was not true, and the damn thing had no sound. So I am probably going to get a strike on my page for doing this, but I did put Michelle's license, and I'm going to show you this in just a second. So when we did this, and I said that, okay, so why will this not? Can't this play nicely? Why do you see this? Do you see this? It's not me. How do you make the chat? Oh, there. Oh my God, it's working right there. It's working right there. Oh. Okay, so this is what I said. I said, Michelle has told on herself since day one. How could she have ever been a rope expert, as she claimed when she first came in the MGL lives, if she never was an insurance adjuster? Ha ha, that's speaking to how she was doing the begathon to go and become an insurance adjuster. And I said, think about it. She was blabbing about how she was an insurance adjuster, that single-handedly she jumped on roofs, slinging rope straight out of her fart box 3 times a day. So now that she was scamming people and saying if she could get her insurance adjuster's license by flying down to the place she needed the money to go and get airline tickets and hotel and all of this and food and everything that everybody gave her to, I said, why is that fair? Because she just had her whole bank account filled with her SSDI. And, we were talking she knows that most of her subscribers, most of the people, most of the enablers right now are on disability as well. And so they get paid on the first. So that's when she begs as hard as she can. She watches for when her Social Security hits her account, and then she goes for the gold on everybody else's so she can get their money before they've spent it towards the end of the month because they're on a fixed income as well. And I think that that's ridiculous. She needs to learn how to live within her budget, as she has reasons that she cannot be gainfully employed, which she has admitted. So I said, well, why doesn't anybody ask her about her rope expert days? Why did everybody kind of forget that? And I think that we just all got caught up in all of the lies and manipulation that it's like, oh, wait a minute. This is how this started when she came on to Molly's thing and was acting like that. Because she was talking about McCrae. I've done content on that as well. So, Dre McCrae and Vaughn, I gave the whole backstory, so that those videos are in here as well. I have a very diversified content channel, I think. So if you guys are ever kind of looking for the backstory and you don't see that I have it somewhere, give me a suggestion and I'll go deep in my documents and all the sources that I have and everything, and I will show you. And the way that I come up with things, I don't believe the headlines, the black and white. I believe in the gray that's in between, and that gray between that black and white, that connects to your gray matter. Think about it. So read between the headlines. The truth is in the gray. Use your gray matter to figure it out. It all makes sense. And so then once I had exposed this, I did get another note, and you guys might have seen it, because I have a lot of people sending me a lot of stuff. I can't come forward with it because it is not something that can be accessed publicly. So I would be guilty of doxing, and I could lose my channel if I come forward with everything that I know about this woman and have been sent. So there are a lot of us who know an awful lot about her and have to just sit back and watch her lie and lie and lie and wonder why people are believing her as it is, even if they don't know all that we do. How can they believe her for a second? She's a crazy person, literally. And you don't deal with crazy people. You're like, okay, hi, be nice to him. Fine, be nice to her. Don't give her money. But to her, the only value she sees in a person, bottom line, is how much money they can give her. If you don't give her money, she doesn't want anything to do with you. And that is cruel. And that's where I feel bad for these people who are being exploited by giving her money, because she does not care about anybody. People are disposable to her. She wants money. And you know what she's doing with this money? She wants to get enough money to give to Ski to impress Ski again. So for all the people who don't like Ski and think that she's not doing anything with Ski, she's trying to get enough money to impress him, to get him to be with her. And we spoke on that tonight too. Snow White and I really put together some connections and where I was with what I had been doing and where she was with. And there's a lot there. And so here's what I said too. I said she was an insurance adjuster for a very short time. Her license was revoked by the SEC, which makes her ineligible to ever hold that license again. And I said, as if she could pass a drug alcohol test, as if she could get someone to overlook her criminogenic ways and DUIs, then they would have to look past her 15-year internet fuck shit. And it is 15 years. There's a good solid 15 years of terrible things she's done on the internet. It is not limited to just this year, if you can believe it or not. So I said, here, whoever gives her $1 more is an idiot, and their village misses them. Because every village has an idiot, right? Well, if their village idiot is out there, they're missing, going to the ATM to go and give her cash app. Well, their village needs them back. Stay where you're at. And then people could say, well, how come I haven't gotten my money and she gets her money? Because she's doing it through Cash App. Cash App does not require you to have a monetized channel. I don't know how she's getting it. The money that I have been given, I think, goes right to my channel, and it's going in that thing. I don't know. I've not gotten any money. And this is the other thing, is that I didn't know, and two people had actually given me like super chat or whatever, and I didn't know that they did. And then I went to my Cash App app, and I found that there was $75 that had expired. So one person had given me 50 and one person had given me 25. And, I put in there, I was so sorry. I went right away and put a thing up here that I was so sorry and I hope they got their money back and I'm so sorry. I felt terrible because I didn't thank them in time and I hope that, they got their money back. Of course, I hope they did. I felt terrible that I didn't know because that probably would have made me feel a little bit better about what I'm doing here. So anywho, Cash App must go straight to it. So then the super chat is what I must have gotten so far. I think I've gotten 40 now in super chat. Because whatever it is I have 120 in revenue waiting, but they won't release it. So I don't know what the threshold is. So there's some good comments in here that you guys might want to look at because then, this is kind of a little thing. So within this, and there are chats. So if you haven't made yourself familiar with your favorite creators page or me, check it out and start seeing, kind of follow up with after you watch them create something, go to their page and check it out. And then when I put over here, this is freaking hilarious. There's this Facebook page called MGL, Michelle Goes Live, right? Right. So it's acting like it's Michelle. Okay? It's obviously not Michelle. Spoiler alert. And so they have this here. And let me see if I can show it to you. Me coming up my driveway after a thing, Circle K. Then you go to the second thing. Oh, is it not showing it? It's not showing it. Wait, because there was the comment. Should show it. Oh, because somebody didn't get it. Well, it's not even showing the thing now. What? Oh, it's funny. Okay, just go and trust me. Go to Facebook and check this out. They have this little video of what's supposed to be Michelle coming up the driveway and what is not. Is just freaking hilarious. All the things in there are funny. There's a couple of people who don't understand that it's a joke page, so they're like, that's not her. You can tell because she doesn't have a camera mounted on her Jeep. Because this Jeep is like going all four-wheel drive, hitting curbs, all that stuff. Well, check that out. Also, if you go in Reddit and you go to bottom feeders of YouTube or put in Michelle's name or other people, you can find out an awful lot on Reddit. I had no idea there was such a big thing on the Reddit about things. Oh, okay, so this is the chat in there. Okay, so that's where it goes. Okay. So then go in here and I'm going to show you how the chat began over here. So earlier in the week, when I saw the scamathon, I saw Carissa exposed in the chat, and I felt that Michelle would really, really glub onto her, act like she's the only friend she has, do her love bombing and everything to Carissa, and I was really afraid that she would hurt Carissa. And so I went out on a limb here and really went out there and really warned Carissa. And basically, Michelle had given her a shout out, and it brought some growth to Carissa's channel. And so she felt like, she wanted to be thankful to Michelle and help her. And Michelle said, great, what I could have you do is help me because I want to go and tell my story. So I'd like to tell my story on your channel. And I explained, no, this whole entire year has been her side, her side, her side. And the rest of us have been working 24/7, 365 to go and show that what she's saying, everything she says, is a freaking lie. Her story is not history. It is a lie, lie, lie. She's had enough time to show her real story. And then when she goes in her confession times and she confesses that she didn't have a stroke and wants to sit there and justify why she did this and the horrible screenshots she did, and she's like, see why I did this? See why I did this? Like, the fact that you're justifying and defending what you did, the sick, vile thing you did, shows how sick and vile you are. Asshole. Anyway. So I didn't know if Carissa knew the backstory. So I linked my playlist here So that's, if anybody wanted to see that, that's there, and that's where all of the episodes are. The ones I updated for Penelope, or I inherited Penelope's, or I took them from her by force. I updated her videos, and she gave me the permission after I had already done so. The forgiveness, I guess, for because I begged and begged and begged for her forgiveness that I was using her videos, because I don't know how to make incredible videos like she does. She's really talented and a very good visual creator, and I hope to learn. A year ago, I did not know how to upload a video or anything on a computer. I was doing everything by my phone, as I had done with my other channel. My other channel was strictly me talking into the phone about the one person, Lori Beth Langer, who I thought was the worst person on YouTube. But now I've seen Lori Beth Exponential, which is a Michelle. So I got rid of, well, I didn't, that channel's still there. It's just called The Real C Word of Brookline. It just has me talking. I had no idea how to like do this or anything. And so ultimately my phone wouldn't keep any memory. It wasn't working anymore really to upload anything. Then I had to buy this laptop. And then with this laptop, I really didn't know what to do or how to transfer from my phone over. So my teenagers uploaded or downloaded whatever, the OBS system. And then I figured out a little bit on the OBS system, but I still didn't know how to upload, and I'd have them help. And then I figured it out. I figured out how to do it. And I also, after Blowjob Betty took my channel down, and my account was terminated falsely, which I got my channel back. But in that time, I created a Patreon account, and I back everything up to Patreon so that if I ever do have my channel taken away again, I will go solely to Patreon. So everything is backed up over there, and I do have my Patreon open now. It's the same content here. I haven't not done anything exclusive, but some of my Betty stuff is not going through because she fights it so hard, and then she'll report every single thing on my channel. What she did, she reported 18 of my videos at once, so I can't self submit my own videos now for ad suitability because of the 18 she reported. 4 were indeed a violation based on my content or potty mouth, one of the two or both. 14 were fine, 4 weren't. So I've lost the ability to self-rate my videos, which is fine, but I did a really good expose on her, and she had it taken down within minutes. She knew what I was going to do, I swear to God. And I had it, at 6 in the morning to compete with her coffee time. Take a shit in coffee time that she does. And damn, it was down. So I'm going to go ahead and put my Betty content that won't be able to go on here. I'm going to put it on Patreon. And it's not like I'm doxing her. The things are on a Twitter link, all about her extensive criminal history. And the only reason that it's relevant is because anybody who says anything to her about her lies and how she's scamming money, she doxes them. And she acts like she's holier than thou. She acts like she works for the government, acts like she's appreciated by government things. And, oh, no. So I just showed some newspaper articles that have highlighted Manatee Woman, is what they refer to her as, Manatee Woman. So if you ever try and find an article called Manatee Woman, it's talking about Betty. And in there's a Twitter link that has her extensive criminal background. But anyway, I can't put it up because then that would be that. I don't believe in doxing. But if somebody's whole entire criminal record is embedded in a Twitter link, and that Twitter link is embedded in a newspaper article that anybody can see, and because she's in Florida, they have the Sunshine Law. So that's why we know so many things about the weirdos in Florida and the things that happen. Like we know about the Kaylee Anthony, and we know all of the things that happened because Florida has transparency. They have the Sunshine Act, where essentially it says whatever happens in the dark needs to be exposed in the light. So there is no provision on secrecy in what happens in the court or the criminal justice system. It's public record, essentially, if it comes out of Florida. So the only problem is that in her criminal background check, that's there, the record, it shows an address. Whether or not it is her current one, I don't know. I would have no idea, and I wouldn't want anybody to follow that. I just didn't know how to block it out of a newspaper article that has an embedded Twitter that has the past tense of a Twitter, so a twat, it has a twat in it that has a twat's address. I don't know. So I don't know how to undo that, but because that's in there, then that was taken down. I did not receive a strike. I received a slap on the wrist. Oh, anywho, this is what I put. This is the one that I put up about Michelle because I found this one that she put on Google, and this is how she found Vinny. So remember when she said that she lost her job because everybody was calling and saying all these things, and so she lost her job because she was getting all those calls? Remember, people, she's never had a job. This job she said that she was at, that everybody made all these phone calls and made her lose a job, there was no job. There was no interview 2 weeks ago where she's saying that all these people called and warned the employer. There was no interview. She cannot get a job because she could never pass a criminal background check that had anything to do with a moving vehicle, etc., etc. Let's say that you're progressive, and here you have this insurance adjuster who wants to work for you, and she's gonna get her progressive little mobile, and she's gonna be just like that progressive girl with the headband and everything. She's gonna be there solving claims and everything. We've seen her drive drunk on live, so somebody would pop up that video, or somebody who would be in HR would look at her extensive criminal record with DUIs and not allow her to be able to be an insurance adjuster. I don't think you can be an insurance adjuster with DUIs. I don't know. It has something to do with a pattern of behavior, if you will. So, anywho, she would have to pass a background check, which there's felons can get jobs. There are so many felon-friendly employers, but those are people who want a fresh start. Those are people who have done the crime, did the time, and come out as a reformed person and want a chance to be able to earn honestly. And they come to the employer with that disclosure. Absolutely, you can get a job with a criminal past. I'm not saying that, so please don't take that out of text. But what I am saying is, when you are continuing your criminogenic ways and you are deep in your addictions, and the addictions have cost you everything for more than 2 decades of your life, you're not going to be able to just walk in and get a job. I don't even know that she could get a job as a gas station attendant. You know, people are suggesting that, like, oh, the most basic job you could go and get, go to the gas station. Well, why can't you apply for a job there? Most likely she could not get that. And people think that's very simple, but no, most people do a background check these days. Especially, if you're selling cigarettes and stuff. People are like, well, you could drive for Uber, you could drive for Uber Eats, you could do whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. No, she can't. She cannot get a job that has anything to do with her driving because of her DUIs. She cannot get a job with anything where she's driving or operating any kind of equipment or doing anything because she would not pass a piss test. Most jobs have you do a piss test. Now, one of her enablers going to say, well, she can have a doctor's note because she's supposed to have that medication in her system. No, she's not. The medication she's taking right now, the at-home drugs that she can shake that pill bottle for, not a current prescription, not the current count, not the right pill in the bottle. She is not getting a current prescription from any doctor. There is no doctor that would be prescribing Xanax, which is a benzo, knowing that she's in active addiction and alcohol. And that's what was just shown when she was in the hospital. When she just was in that hospital stay, they were able to ascertain that she's drinking and she's taking illicit drugs that are not prescribed to her. So, she couldn't get a job based on her background check. Couldn't get a job because she's not sober. So she would not pass the piss test. Wouldn't pass a background check. Can't drive for anybody. And then she has no experience in any job at the age that she is. With her behavior and her volatile temper, etc., etc., and as she volunteers, her extreme mental disorders, her extreme bipolar, her extreme borderline, as she says in her own words, which I talked extensively about in a more professional manner on Mayhem's channel, so you can listen to all of that. I'm just talking to you guys as my friends right now, saying that she did not have a job and has not had a job. In her 20s, she had a real estate license. Yes, she did. That is why she knows exactly what she's doing to sabotage that house. And I talked to Mayhem about how uncomfortable I am about what may or may not be her goal. If you want to know what I'm talking about, please look at my video entitled Mexican Standoff. That is a term that she has used frequently, and I defined what it is and what she means. Maybe meaning. So this was the gem that she put out last year after she got intimidated enough to come off of the platform, before all of her enablers went and picked up the house that landed on her. Because she does. When she is crowd surfing, does she not look like the Wicked Witch of the West? My precious. Well, Countess Tara sounds like that too. So they might both be the Wicked Witches of the West. But anyway, the house fell down on the Wicked Witch of the West, and then the enablers came and pulled off the house, and they want to sit there and have a few more rounds at her. So this is what she put, and she put this out on Google. You can find this by putting her name in a Google search. You can find out all kinds of stuff. Just saying. Do your own work, peeps. It says here, help me, please. My life is being threatened because I was a paid patron on someone's channel. She called the police on me on her live, acted like O was at her house, made a fake police report, right? And gave out my physical address on YouTube. I'm getting D threats, and this is streamed everywhere now. I've lost my job. Her subscribers have called my office nonstop. There's so much more, right? Oopsie is you don't have a freaking job. You don't have an office. This was on Google. Vinny G got wind of this. Somebody saw this, and however it was, Vinny G got this, okay? So what happened is, oh shit, why does it do that? It was like totally behaving. I had it moving right. Had it moving totally nicely. It was behaving so nice. You guys saw it. And now it won't work at all again. So anyway, with that, she found Vinny found her. And Vinny, she said, oh, I've been a victim of a stroke, and I've had a stroke, so they're making fun of me and bullying me. And he's like, show me where the bullies are. Or, because he's from Australia, show me, mate. Where are those bullies? Anyway. Oh, shit. You see that? You see this fuck shit? Anyway, let me see here. Why do you not behave right? What is wrong with you? Okay, so I just want to go here to there. Okay, there we go. So it says here, I've lost my job. Her subscribers have called my office nonstop. There's so much more. Take her channel down. So now this link, I believe, went to Molly. So she has this out on Google where she's wanting Molly's channel taken down. Okay, so she refers to that. Well, Molly's got a lot of enemies. Okay, so this is what happened. And Snow White and I talked about this because Michelle studied Molly, and Michelle wanted to become Molly, like wear her skin kind of stalking. Every single thing that Molly had and portrays that she had and portrays that she has done, Michelle wanted, tried to become, continues to try to strive to be. She wants Molly out of the picture. She wants to become the new Molly. This is what she's doing with the money. This is what she's doing. Okay. So then when Vinny saw this, when Vinny got wind of this, Vinny taught her how to strike channels. Vinny was with bottom of YouTube, I believe is what it's called. And so then when Vinny found out that she was lying about her stroke and everything, because Vinny's actually had a stroke, then he dumped her and tried to get her off the platform and everything. But she had already then learned about Ski, because Ski was in a group too that was similar to what Vinny could do, in that, he could track people's IP addresses and whatnot and could dox. So that's why she found Ski. So because of this post, it led to this, to this, and this. So she's rewarded by every lie that she does. So now if we go here, and like I was talking about, like those Russian dolls, and you have Molly, and you take one out, and then it becomes a Michelle, and then you take one out, and it becomes a terror rat. Because all of the bad behavior that Molly has done and is guilty of, there's nothing I wouldn't say here that I wouldn't say to Molly sitting right across from her, okay? So everything that Molly did, Michelle wanted, because Michelle wants the money and she wants the fame. Not fame, but infamy, if you will. So Michelle is rewarded over and over by money, which is that's all that matters to Michelle, is money. Money, money, money. She's transactional. Everything is transactional with Michelle. So the more lies she told, the more money she's gotten and the more attention she gets. If I was Molly, I'd have a real problem with what Michelle has done. I think Molly has the power to do something. I wonder if she has anything in the works. I don't know. So that was there. And then if you go to Facebook and you look for Michelle, or then other things from where she lives come up. So there's this group there, and I'm assuming that there are people in there that, know about who she is, hopefully in the animal group. But this popped up, and it had this thing about there being bats in Harris County. Now, this is what I put up. Okay. So this is the confusion that I think people have, because there are 2 pages here. So what I did with this one, let me see. Oh, that's not even going to show. It's not showing her name. Okay. So her name is up there, and I crossed off the last name, and I crossed off this part of her address, but I left that Hamilton, Georgia, so you guys would know what I'm talking about. And says here, insurance adjuster, license number, and it says current. All right. Go to the next one, and it shows the bottom of it. So this was one thing. Is this not showing now? Oh my God. Or is it not showing to me? What is going on? Okay. Okay, there we are. There it popped up. So here you go. So this is like one page that is screenshotted into 2. So as you see it saying this, and it says her name, and it says her address in Georgia, and it says, where she's licensed, and it says Louisiana, it says LA. Okay, and it says active. Now below it says status, inactive / revoked. And it says verification date 2019, receive date 2023, file date, blah, blah, blah. Now there's an amendment here, May 21st of 2018. I don't know what that all is about. And then as I looked into it further, then I would find other things in there that said this too, and it said like inactive, revoked, and it put SEC. So it was revoked from the SEC. So I think that's Securities Exchange Commission or whatever. Once you've had your license revoked, you're done. You're done. If it was something that was able to be fixed and the issue was fixed, if it was even know what kind of a error could be amended for you to get your license back. But she's given the lie that she was now needs to. So when I put this up, it should have been enough for everybody to see that she was lying in that scamathon, that she's already been an insurance adjuster, already screwed it up, and it has been revoked. But she did some quick thinking because she doesn't, her enablers are telling her to not give people details. Well, when you are asking for money to go to a certain place, if you are begging and begging and begging for money and you are getting money through an electronic source, that is a wire transfer. If you do not do what you said you were going to do with that money, that is wire fraud. So every single person that has given her cash apps and whatnot, Venmo, all of that, and she did not do what she was supposed to do with that permissible purpose, then a charge can be filed, those funds can be returned, and she can get charged with wire theft, wire fraud on every single count. So if you were a loved one, has given her a cash app, or you know how much cash app somebody else has done, etc., please send all of the screenshots, the proof, the numbers to me at tabithajane0@gmail.com, as I am putting all of this together, as I do have a federal investigator who is looking into this, and if I can prove that number, then this can all go together and she can get in a lot of. Bottom line is, she's not supposed to be on YouTube. So the fact that she's on YouTube after it's already been documented that she's been deplatformed and she is not allowed to channel circumvent, she's not allowed to be on anybody else's channel. That is channel circumvention. She is not allowed to be on anybody else's channel. She is not allowed to be on the platform whatsoever. So the fact that she's begging and receiving money through that venue, that is fraudulent. So this is where it's going to go. Now, because she was saying all this and all these people were believing that she just needs to get her adjuster's license and then she can do that, and I showed she's already had it, screwed it up, had it in 2019, has not had it back, for 4 freaking years. Then she said, "Oh no, I need my Georgia license. Yeah, my Louisiana license I lost, but I need my Georgia license. I need continuing education." She did something. So basically, when I took this risk here for the strike on my channel, she lied again, and people are believing her lies. And it's disgusting. And then this Tara, and she's doing her publicity tour, going to all of Michelle's enemies, which, come on, this is Michelle telling her what to do, and they're acting, and they're both bad actresses. But anyway, so she's going to ski and she's doing all of this and she's like offering up. She's like, yeah, I never once thought that she stopped drinking. No, she has not stopped drinking. Well, remember when Tara was sitting there acting like she was going to AA and everything. And when I busted it out that was not a 2-week AA coin, it was a 24-hour coin. And then she's like, oh, because my sponsor, it wants me to have one of the most special coins. So she's special ordering them. So I just had to use an old coin. She didn't go to any AA. She doesn't have a sponsor. She's never been sober. She cut down what she was drinking, so she's not going live with all of this alcohol in her system. She cut down, but that means that she's taking that balance somewhere else. So where's that balance coming back? It's coming back in the opioids and the benzos that she's taking. Oh, but she said that she can't. Her stomach gets hurt. She says she can't until she takes her Zofran. And remember, she is admitted to having to snort the Xannies. Oh, oopsie. So this is here. Revoked. This is the part of the license. People see that and they don't go down and they don't research it and they don't go and see. It's revoked. So she's just a lying scamming. So anyway, Marine Wife says, oh, dang, I didn't see the revoke part. How'd she even get an insurance adjuster license with those DUIs anyway? And this person here, Joe's Pull Hall, says, I know her in real life. Yeah, she had a license. However, she only really worked maybe 2 weeks after a storm training. After that, I'm not sure what happened, but she wasn't working any longer. Don't know if it was drugs, DUI, or incompetency. She's not a very smart person, and I know damn well she can't do the math involved to give a proper damage appraisal. And this is where I said, imagine this. that she does, and she gets up there, and we saw how sturdy she is. Imagine how she was standing on ETN at that crowd surfing thing. Imagine her, she's up on the roof and whatever, falls in, tips back a few up there, gives an estimate. It doesn't sound right to the person or whatever, and they do the fix with the check that they get, and then their roof caves in, and something terrible happens, and maybe somebody didn't survive it, and they go back on the adjuster, and so they're like, her name, yeah, what was her name? And they go and they do a Google search to try and find her, to get a hold of whatever insurance, and they see everything that she has done. She has done what she has done since 2009 on the internet, and that insurance agency let her represent them. Do you know what kind of a real lawsuit, those people would then have to that insurance agency for employing her, for letting her represent their name, their reputation? This is why it is important that they hire people who have great integrity to be insurance adjusters. There is trust involved. There is responsibility involved, and of which she has none. There are morals involved. Don't even get me started. She's morally bankrupt. So then, Autumn Renee says, well, what I don't get is if she has her master's in medical administration, master's in foreign relations, is a physical trainer, and all the other crazy shit she's claimed, why is she so pressed to do this? Surely with the medical admin degree alone, you'd make more than $250 a day. She claims she'd be making with this certification. Sorry, seems unbelievable. And I said, that's because none of it is true. Yes, she was. Yes, she was once a real estate agent. Okay. I don't know when that stopped. I don't know when. I know that when her child unfortunately passed away from SIDS, it is confirmed that she was not being a good mom. That baby who passed away from SIDS was born addicted, and he had a lot of problems because of it, especially respiratory. Well, do you think she ever stopped smoking too? Do you think she was smoking around the bed? Come on. Okay. So she was out drinking and not caring for that baby. And there's a lot of rumors and stuff that are surrounded about there, and the guilt that she feels about it. And the baby was caught tangled up in a blanket, etc., etc. She'd been out drinking then. So she didn't just start drinking because of the grief of the child. She went on to inexcusably, horribly abuse her other children, and she lost complete custody of them. She has no parental right to any of her 3 children. Okay? Let's think about that. Those are the kinds of things that do not make for a person who is a good candidate to be in a position of judging damages. This is a person who does the damage. Okay? So, and then the Wisconsinite said, not to mention, but with her stents and heart issues, she's a liability to be up on her roof. She doesn't have heart issues. She did have that stent for her circulation issues, but her circulation issues are due to her addiction. And that's why it's important that she gets sober quick, because she's running against the clock. She doesn't, at the rate she's going, you don't see somebody reaching an age much older than she is doing what she's doing. And Tara is enabling her 6 feet under, playing her little filthy game and teaching her daughter that's how you get money and gifts out of strangers. Disgusting. So anyway, let's see. So that's there. So if you ever want to, there we go. So then Crazy Daisy said did her Louisiana license get revoked, but she's still active in Georgia? None of it's true. Okay. Now what? This true crime lady says, better look again at Georgia office insurance adjuster. She is active but hasn't completed any training. Expires 10/23. No. Nope. Because she's out there saying that she doesn't have, okay, here we go. What did Joe's Pool House say? Say, I know she's licensed in Georgia, but has failed to secure employment short of a couple weeks of on-the-job paid training she did right after completing the classes. This is the thing, is that it's all lies. Remember, she started out by saying she hadn't had her license and she wanted it and she wanted to get it. So when I just exposed and she's already had it revoked, now people are sitting there arguing, oh no, she has this and she has that. Stop picking it apart. Look at how the truth is and how I have exposed the truth over and over. Why do people not ask her all of these questions and not have her put the proof forward? How come it is every time that I take a risk and I expose her lies, I am the one who is questioned and, oh, better look again? Fuck off. Who are you? Let me see here. Let's check you out. 513 subscribers. Yeah. And 3 videos? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's not gonna work here. You are not credible. Let me see here. Okay, so this is somebody doing Michelle content. Let's see here. So why are they telling me I better look again about this? You have 513 subscribers and 3 videos, so you're obviously I stand with Bot, Tragic, and all Michelle's victims. Okay, so why are you, True Crime Latest, coming at me telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about? Exploring true crime facts, speculation, and opinions. Well, you better get a little better at that, because right now I'm not seeing. Let's see here. So 9 months ago doing this, and what did you do here? It says someone told her I was watching when I sent the correction to her that it was 600, not 450. My God, people. And then it says she'll lose this channel today. YouTube always takes her channel down in less than 24 hours. It says, of course, I'm sure that she figured that out. She blocks everyone if they confront her or remind her of the lies. She says you gave her money because her and ETN gave her 5K. Yeah, she and ETN helped us once. So there's something about Valley Girl. Whatever, whoever you are here, True Crime Latest, don't come trying to check me on my page. No, thank you. Um, she is a fraud. She does not have an active license in either place. If she did, she would not have a license. She would not have a license long. She would not be able to gain employment. If she did somehow get a license in Georgia after Louisiana, then she's had licenses in both places. She's lying about both, and the SEC has not been able to connect the dots in both. You cannot have your insurance license revoked in one state simultaneously not getting the other one revoked. However, nope. I called the SEC. There's no way. There is no way. They said it is a done deal. Once it is revoked, it is revoked. Not that it's national in its licensing, but that information and the background that they have in so doing, one violation would be standard across the board, that if you had a license in 2 states, etc., that whatever you had to have it revoked would be across the board. So we'll go back over here. And we're back to the home plate. So that's a little bit about how you can kind of find out about what we creators are doing, what's on my mind, other things where I haven't necessarily put it together as a whole video yet, but I'm working on it. Or if there's something that you want to know about more about. Like I said, I've done the Idaho 4, and the reason why I've done the Idaho 4 is because I am from that area. I grew up in Spokane, Washington, which, what are you smiling about? What is his lawyer smiling about? Don't. Okay, you know what? We're going to look at this. Oh, I am not going to listen to this commercial again. I am not going to listen to this. Shut up. I've heard this commercial just too many times. Okay. So when I just saw him coming in, they got him all suited up, Brian Koberger. What? Okay, why are you smiling? This is not a smiling matter. Okay, put your smiles away. This isn't funny. This is one of the most gruesome. Why are you smiling, ma'am? Get that smile off your face. You're smiling at Brian Koberger? Oh my, what is going on? Oh, and now he's trying to hold a smile. He's got that duper's delight. Look at him working his jaw. Looks like a hawk. Oh man, look at him working that jaw. Oh, he's nervous as all hell. Look at him. His nostrils are flaring. Oh, and he gave her a smile in response to her smile. Why are these two smiling? That's very unprofessional. Very unprofessional. Very. Oh, she smiled again. This black-haired one smile. Look at her smiling. He knows better than to smile, but he's trying to be appropriate socially to them smiling at him, but he knows better than to smile. But there is a snap of him smiling that I've seen going around. I was wondering what this was about. This is what it is. So this fat ass right here, she actually, I believe she is the one who was an attorney, the attorney for one of the victims' mothers. And so she dropped the case with one of the victims' mothers, one of the victims' mother who has the extensive drug history, and dropped that case so that then she could come and defend this person who is innocent until proven guilty. Bottom line, um, really disturbing stuff to see those smiles. Uh, so I've done content on the Idaho 4. I've done content on Shankella Robinson. So all of that is there. So if you guys, are cleaning house or whatever, turn my stuff on. You don't have to watch my stuff. That's the thing about it. You don't have to watch my stuff. Just listen, because I don't know how to do the visuals. I just try to do the visuals showing you around, my YouTube site and whatnot for my 1 year anniversary. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'd love to play this, but I think I would get struck if I use this content. So I'll go through and see if there's any new documents to add. But these two are going to get fried on their inappropriate facial gestures and their smiling. Oh, look at she's smiling again. What, you're so proud that you got this case? Oh, like I say, watch his jaw. He works that jaw. He works that jaw. On this topic, I can actually speak to one thing. Um, okay. So I was born in Spokane, Washington. It's in Eastern Washington, and Idaho is just a little hop, skip, and a jump from there. And so, the college where we'd go and college parties and everything, were right there at Washington State University, Wazoo, and then Idaho, where this occurred is right there. The college's border right there in University of Idaho, WSU, big college towns. Okay, right there. So they don't have big city stuff. There's the colleges, and then there's nothing, just beautiful, beautiful, unbuilt upon land for as far as you can see. Idaho is very beautiful. And Washington, the Eastern Washington is your desert side. Your Western Washington, where Seattle and stuff is your mountains, and it's literally divided by a mountain range. So one side is very much a rainforest, the other side is a desert. So the spot in which I'm speaking about is in the desert, so where I'm from, that Eastern Washington area is right there, over very close to the border of where Idaho is, and where this horrible tragedy occurred. So where this happened in Idaho, they don't have the resources. They didn't have any way of handling a crime of this magnitude, nor the crime scene technicians, nor the investigative skills that would need to be employed to figure out who did this, when did it happen, how did it happen, and really getting into that forensic background. They knew that very soon into what happened. So they called for the bigger city to come and help them right away. They did not try to say, hey, this is my backyard. Don't you come and piss in it. This is my badge. No, 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 no. They stood down and said, we need help, which was great. So within that being said, the nearest big town to where this happened on the border of Idaho and Washington State, the closest big city to them is Spokane. Okay, and that's where I was born. So I even know where the coroner's office is and the medical examiner. I think they autopsied my little sister and my father in that very same office that the Idaho 4 were autopsied in. So the coroner herself, what's her name? Something Joan Mabutt. Something like, literally her name is like Mabutt. Mabut, Mabutt. I saw her. And what she was saying is that as the coroner, she did not have to go there until the investigators were done doing their things, etc., etc. Okay. As she was saying, she was not required to come straight to the scene because there was the other things that needed to be done. And then when she came in, she spoke to how much blood there was and etc., etc. She had also spoken on how, well, you can think you're very safe because you're in a small town. It's still very important to lock your doors. So people right there are taking it apart, like how dumb she is to say, oh, you need to lock your doors. Well, that's because that house was known as a party house. People were coming in and out. So it wasn't like a break-in. Okay, so I think that's where they're getting there. But then the comment thread that I was watching in a rather big forum, the people misinterpreted that and thought that then autopsies were not conducted on the 4 victims. Because she said that she did not need to be there until later when this was done. I'm like, no, of course they were autopsied. Of course there's toxicology that's there. Of course they were autopsied. How did you get that out of that? People take things out of text. It's the internet. You got everybody coming out. When they say everybody comes out, everybody's got an opinion, everybody's got an asshole. And it seems like there's a lot of assholes with opinions these days. You know what I mean? So, they took the 4 victims over to Spokane. Then, that jurisdiction is there in Washington State. So people are probably really confused as to why they had to go to Washington as opposed to staying in Idaho. But it's just really that close. And that was the closest big city area in which they would have the medical examiner and the medical examiner's skill set and staff to be able to accommodate for autopsies that were going to be very important to be conducted in a way that would be strong enough to withstand all of the questions and scrutiny that will occur in the trial. So there's misinformation in that. I'll be updating that and I'll add it to that playlist. So as you see my playlist, it'll be the most current and then it'll be the backstory there. And that's why they call me Backstory Tabby, because I like to give you that backstory and link it there. So like I say in the beginning, people started saying they liked listening to me because they could garden, they could, still do dishes, they could shower, whatever. And I have a favorite creator that I listen to, that when I put her on my headphones, it'll put me to sleep because I know that creator is going to say things that are funny and lighthearted and are not going to, be anything that I need to be thinking of, oh, I've got to go take notes or anything like that. I like to find creators like that where I can relax and listen to the story. And I was being told that that's the position that I serve for others. And I really like that. So I hope that those of you who just joined start to learn kind of my pattern and start to get to know me. And those of you who have been there since day one when I got exiled from Mensa's chat, hello. Thank you for being with me from day one. And thank you for all that have just joined. You're all important to me. And we are all students of life and human behavior, and analyzing human behavior is what I really like to do. And in so doing, my priority, as is, I'm sure, all of yours, is to get to the bottom of things, and to figure out why something happened, so that if it is something that's negative, it doesn't happen again. To be sure that I'm doing my part to create a better world for my legacy, my children, my grandchildren, their children, great grandchildren, that I'm being responsible in my lifetime of making sure that my children never had to hurt as I once did, that I am paving a path forward in all of the things that I can have an affect on, that I see need to be amended or could be affected positively, so that my legacy is a little bit easier than the way that I had to live my life. And as that is, I must tell you that, I don't know if I've touched on this or not, but there's not one sober branch of my family tree. Not on any of it. I come from a long line of alcoholics. I am genetically destined to be the power alcoholic. I do not have a problem with alcohol or anything like that. I have a pain problem, and I've talked about how I wasn't comfortable with the pain medication I was on, so I went through quick medical detox to be able to be put on Suboxone, as I found Suboxone is an amazing option for people who were not getting the pain relief from their pain generating illnesses, like I was not, for my Crohn's and etc. etc. So I'm on Suboxone, and I have done content on Suboxone as well. My Suboxone story is in here, and I did a couple of lives with Possum Wrangler talking about Suboxone, because Lisa, when she was enabling Michelle, was telling her that, half of her subscribers, half of the people making fun of Michelle are on Suboxone, acting like being on Suboxone was a problem, whereas Suboxone would be a very, very good option for a person like Michelle. It could really help if she was ever to get sober and have her mental conditions regulated, and if she actually has physical pain. And even if she doesn't have pain, there is dosing for Suboxone to control cravings, and that it's a different dosing structure than what is dosed for me, as I am dosed for chronic pain. Canada has done a lot for Suboxone research, and that's how they're handling their opioid epidemic. They're a lot more humane than we are, so to speak. So all of those things are there on my channel. You just have to kind of look for them, since I don't have the flashy stuff where it says, here, look over here. And I think I'm gonna check out these dresses next. These are cute. I was wearing one by a company called Mondetta, Mondetta, the Mondetta active dress. They had them at Costco. They were like $20, and I bought one, and it's like the best thing. I change out of my nightgown in the morning into one of these active dresses like this, and then I just do my day. And it's amazing, because the one I have, this Mondetta, has the bra built in, and it's just awesome. And it wicks sweat away. Just totally awesome. So now this Halara one is very similar. It must have seen my Mondetta searches, because I want a Mondetta dress in every color. So maybe this is my answer. Maybe I'll have to see if I can get a Halara dress here. So anyway, thanks for listening on my potpourri of topics here. I hope that you're all well and have a great weekend. Thanks for listening, and thank you for getting me here to 1 year. And I hope that we'll be celebrating again next year for my 2-year anniversary. And I told you, when I hit 10,000, you'll get to see my ugly ass. I'll show you who I am at 10,000. So I better keep losing weight, huh? Because it's a race. At the 10,000 mark, I'll show you who I am. All right. So thanks again for listening. I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.